have the other window. Hey now.
What don't you have open now?
I don't have the Facebook window open. I've got two monitors that I use here, and I usually have the other window open so I can see the Facebook chat, because there's like a whole other audience watching us on Facebook.
So can you get that on?
I got it. Johnny Beane TV is live. Yeah. Here it is. See, there we go. See.
So are we now live on Facebook too?
Like a slight delay. There we go. There we go. Awesome.
Okay. Awesome. Now everyone can see us. Now we're good.
Hey everybody, it's Johnny Beane, John Mancuda, talking guitars. And technically, I created the session for this. I was out of town yesterday. I created the session on my phone, and I didn't fact check the title. So if any of you guys even noticed it, did anybody notice the title of this video today? It was actually slightly the wrong title. Did anybody even notice it in the chat?
Talking goo-goos and 90s Mughal leave? What?
Did anybody see it? Anyway, it was talking and guitars and 80s metal is what it said.
Oh no.
It was, I had an extra and in there. Anyway, I fixed it right beforehand, but anybody on Facebook might still notice it because it's embedded in all the videos that I shared over there.
And again, apologies to the audience for our late start today. We have had so many issues today. My head's spinning right now. So,
man, yeah. But hey, everybody, hey, it's July 20th, 2021. Since we're West Coast, it's 5:36 p.m. out here, Santa Cruz, California, Hollywood, California. Welcome everybody. Here, let's get through these really quick. It's always good. We are live here on YouTube, where we have executive producers,
the big bosses.
Yes, the big bosses like Charles Grain, Wayno, Joe Christian, Michael B, Thomas Santiago, Music Therapy Laz, Bent Tom, The Chad, James Gum, David Shea Gamori, Lenny Lou and Mary, Michael Smith, Randy Price, Stephen Franklin, Dan Halen, Crazy Cook 678, John Moronic, Jim Ray Hawkins, Mike Neese. Mike Neese, thank you so much for all your support, man. Thank you. I got your message today. R. Habs and Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael?
That is the top tier of channel membership here on Johnny Beane TV on YouTube. If you'd like to become a channel member, click the join button right below the 31 thumbs ups currently here. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. And any support for the channel, any super chats will change the color of my lights.
Change the color of my balls from flesh to blue.
So if you look behind me, there's the guitar more. It's a pretty nice purplish hue right there with a nice pink. I feel like the weatherman now. And this week we've got the storm front coming in.
Some cumulus clouds coming over Johnny's guitar more.
Nice, it's a nice evening with a slight, soreness, going through there. Anyway, that's the guitar more. Those are the lights, and it's a feature only here on Johnny Beane TV. This is something you won't see this anywhere else. But any support to the channel and these shows, any super chats will change the color of those lights in real time. It's not me. People think I'm pushing buttons, sitting here. No, it's magic. It's awesome. So anyway,
ignore the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, he's back there. So yeah, any support for these shows, because I got to pay for this stuff. We'll change the color of those. So thank you for that. And we're also live on Johnny Beane TV Facebook page, where Glenn LaFerman is here. Glenn, the classic guitar world.
The famous rock photographer, Glenn LaFerman.
Yeah, famous rock photographer. My buddy Glenn LaFerman is watching us from Facebook. Great to see you, Glenn. So yeah, we're live on Facebook, where we have Facebook stars, where you can help support the channel and these shows. And we're also live in the Van Halen 1974 to 2020 Facebook group, currently at 61. I got to change these cards every day because it's just climbing. I think
How many do you have now? How many members do you have now?
I think 61.5.
Well, I don't know if you need to change the card right now, but maybe when you get to 62.
Yeah. So
but Johnny, what does the number 1 have? What volume
80.
does the number 80? Oh, we could make that.
So
we're on our way.
Oh, we're totally.
If you haven't joined that group yet, join it now, because that's the new goal, is to be the number 1. Right now we're number 2. We need to be the number 1 Van Halen Facebook group on Facebook. We have to. We deserve it.
Yeah.
You were probably at 80,000 already, but with all the trolls, you took out about 50. You took out about 15,000 people already. So
I kicked out a bunch of people, and no, Facebook pretty much forced me to clean that group up because it was not good. All the negativity in there, and now it's actually starting to happen to a lot of other groups as well. So people think I was joking around, like, hey, the negativity, we can't have it, especially
no one wants negativity. No, people don't come to that group for negativity. And thank you, David Shear. Yes, rest in peace, Jeff Lebarr. We'll be talking about him. We absolutely will be talking about him today. We have a lot to cover today, and so we're going to bang it out. And thank you, False Flag. False Flag just paid for the whole show between him and David Shear. We're good.
False Flag, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you both, David Shear and False Flag. Thank you, guys. Right now, Johnny's already writing the check to the electric company. He's like, oh, thank God, man. That's another week. Oh, good. We're about to lose the lights. Wouldn't that be funny if the electric company just shut down the lights in your armoire? It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, if those doors just closed.
They just closed. The electric company says, until you pay that bill for this week, Beane. Oh, no, man. Yeah, I see people yelling out subjects in the chat. Don't worry, I got a whole big list of stuff to get through. We got, look at that. We got a whole big list of stuff to get through. I know the subjects. Don't worry. I won't forget. And someone, John Bulwer, asked about how Mama Mancuda is. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your support of my mother's health situation. Really appreciate that. She's doing as well as can be. That's the best I could say. So, but thank you, everybody, for the love and support. And John Bulwer also asked, what is the clue for today's show and tell guitar? It belonged to someone who is known to have a big mouth. That's your clue.
You already own it.
Rock star with, yeah, I know. I didn't say a tiny dick. I said a big mouth. Well, I guess I have both. Speaking of audience, let's go through our beloved audience, because we treasure them so much. Let's say hi to David Shea Gomery, Linny Lou and Mary, R2, R3, Locking Nut, Nightbot, Can't Drive 55, Alice Martinez, John Bulwer, Mark Dillon, David Shea Gomery, Leo Safko, Renus Pinkle, Thrash Metal and Fun Riffs, Mark Dillon, Charles Green, False Flag, Browns fan, Dwight Bailey, let's see, R2, R3, Locking Nut, Christopher Live, Sawa, Sandra Picorni, Picorni, we love you long time. And Janice, la 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 la. Janice Lala, hey Janice. Chuck Leggio, Jimmy Ray Hawkins. Let's see, Thomas Santiago, Michael B, Mike Neese, Can't Drive 55. My buddy Fruitcake Tony, Brian Long. There's a name for a man with a dick. Murph Murphy, Hellstorm, Browns fan. Who else? We got Music Therapy Laz. Hey, brother. Good to see you. Let's see. Looking through, scrolling. The original Paramutant in the house.
Dude, Paramutant. Thank you for following me on Twitch, man. Unless there's another guy out there named Paramutant. Because somebody named Paramutant follows.
Well,
me
he's
over on
the
Twitch.
original one, Johnny. He's the original Paramutant. So any other Paramutants are copies.
Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you.
Let's see. And everyone else in the chat, thank you for checking in. Marky FX, Wayne in the house. And then everyone else. Majestic PB&J Cat just walking in, and everyone else that comes in from here on in. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Even though it's Tech Moron Tuesday nightmare behind the scenes. Johnny's sitting there with a fire extinguisher, putting out one of his computers. He's like, Mr. Scott, get us online! Get us online! Stage your post!
Yeah, man. No, for real. For real.
Kai Matthews in the house too. Yes, I said.
Hey,
you
Ty.
know. Kai.
Hey, man.
Kai.
Hey, man.
Lonnie Hoke.
Kai.
Lonnie Hoke.
Ty.
Yeah, a lot of Ty. Hi, Ty. Hi, Ty. But it's Kai.
Kai.
Lonnie. Kai. Speaking of delicious, since you mentioned it, Johnny, delicious Bang energy drink with their new freaking flavor that I'm so addicted to, wild and watermelon. Look at that. Wild. There you go. A big healthy burp from Bang energy drink. Thank you, Bang.
That's funny because I've been drinking Waterloo. You know what those are?
No, but I know it's not Bang energy drink. Proud sponsor of the show. And Waterloo. When Waterloo steps up and
Waterloo is I've been doing the sparkling water thing for the past couple of weeks or a few weeks or whatever, where that's all I've been drinking. And it's funny because I've been drinking the watermelon flavor.
That's funny.
And
that's funny.
It's super good.
Does it taste super sweet? Because this tastes like watermelon Pop Rocks.
No,
this is like addictive. It's delicious.
No, the sparkling water. It just gives you the hint of the flavor.
Oh yeah, no, this thing's like a kick in the groin of flavor. This is great. I love Bang energy drink, and I love when they give new flavors. So wild and watermelon, nothing better. Nothing, not even sparkling water, until they become a sponsor, which then it will be one of the best drinks on earth.
Yes.
Because we love it. We love our sponsors.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Nice. Speaking of sponsors, Mama Mancuda has lovely new boxes of Colonel's Gourmet Popping Corn at her house. Thank you, Charles Green. Delicious Colonel's Gourmet Popping Corn and more. They have chocolate, they have nuts, they have candy, they have sugar-free things, everything you want, but the best popcorn on earth. And when you mention Johnny Beane or Jay Hannon, you get more product. What's not to like about that? If you like their popcorn, who doesn't? You get more. Who doesn't want more? More is better. It's not less is more. More is more. More is better. Go with more. Thank you, Colonel's Gourmet Popcorn. Mama Mancuda is so happy right now. She's probably watching the show eating popcorn.
Yeah. Colonels, you're awesome.
You are awesome. Thank you, Colonels. 2 sponsors down. A couple more to go on the way. Hey, Rico B. Keith Campbell. Everyone coming in. So, okay. Let's see. What do we want to talk about first? First of all, let me just get this out of the way, just so we could get one sad thing out of the way. My hearts really go out. I know we have a lot of listeners in Europe, and my hearts are really going out right now. What's going on in Germany and Belgium and the Netherlands, and a lot of great people over there. A lot of friends of mine. I hope you're all okay. There's a lot of flooding going on. There's a lot of people lost their lives and a lot of damage, and people are their houses are destroyed. So please, just our hearts go out to you. Much love sending out from our channel to you guys. So hope you're all okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now we can talk about good things.
Awesome.
Let's see. Let's go with a couple of things. There's a lot we have to talk about today, so I'm gonna bang through them. Let's talk about good things. Let's see. Jason Becker, our friend of the show, Jason Becker, and associated friends of the show as well, Colleen and everyone who works with Jason, just sold 3 guitars at auction for a whopping $230,000, which I'm really happy for. That's all to help Jason with ALS, because it is not cheap to battle that disease. And Jason, by the way, is the longest living person ever with that disease, because he's awesome and he's got that spirit, that will to live and go on and inspire people. So God bless you, Jason, from us to you.
And it's also because I've been to his house. I know Jason, and it's also due to his family. His family has taken
great.
They've taken such great care of him all these years, because when he was diagnosed, I think he was like 19 or something.
Yeah, he was a teenager. It was late teens. He was with David Lee Roth at that time. He couldn't even tour with him.
It was it started affecting him while he was recording, while he was making the album. And then when they went to actually, if you guys haven't seen it yet, there's a great documentary called Not Dead Yet. And it's a story of Jason Becker. I've got friends that are in it. If you watch the movie closely, you'll see me in it. I'm actually in it in a couple scenes. But it's an amazing.
It's on Johnny's IMDb page.
It will be. It will be. I got to set that up. But anyway, Jason's family is amazing, and all the best. All the best to you, Jason.
Yeah, and you know, keep in mind, Jason's family, speaking of which, they found a way, his father, a genius man, found a way for Jason to communicate with people with the motions of his eyes through a technique he came up with, and mixed it with some science and some electronics. And he can not only communicate with his eyes, he can also compose music. Jason still composes music. The guy's just fucking amazing. I mean, there's nothing Jason Becker can't do. He's just incredible, you know? So it's great that, you know, that's happening. And also there's other guitars being sold. So if you're interested in any of those 3 were Jason's. That's like, one was on the cover of Cacophony. One was his famous Numbers guitar, the Carvin. And there was another one. There was a blue one, a white one. I could actually show you a quick photo of the 3 that sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
I've played those guitars. I've seen them. I've seen them. They're
isolate me for a second.
There we go. Yeah, I know those guitars.
There we go. So these 3 guitars right there were just sold.
That's one of his original Numbers guitars. It's actually a PV.
Oh, is it a PV? What was the Carvin? The white one?
The Carvin is the blue one.
Blue. Okay.
I think that this Carvin. Maybe the blue and the white ones are both probably Carvins.
Okay. So there you go. Those 3 were the ones that were just sold for Jason. $230,000. Thank goodness. And let's also look at coming up in Jason Becker's Reverb store. There's going to be other guitars sold from other artists, friends of Jason's. Paul Gilbert right now is selling a guitar. Let's see, Paul Gilbert, Tosin Abasi, Gus G, Ron Thal, Warren DeMartini. These guys are all selling guitars of their own or signed and played by them for Jason. So this is a really, really great cause. I mean, what can you do better than give back to someone who's given us so much music and inspiration, and really, really great stuff. You know, you got the Triumphant Hearts record came out in, I think, 2018. You should pick that up. Money from that goes to Jason. But, you know, check out on Jason Becker's Reverb store. Check out and look for some of those guitars. That's very cool that all those artists are helping him, because he deserves it. You know, he deserves it. So really happy. And yeah, someone noticed my microphone looks like a giant dick, which it always does. I usually call it Ron Jeremy, but today I renamed it Blue Origin because just like the rocket that went up the other day, just like a giant dick. You know, it's funny. I've never seen a funnier thing than a 10-story penis going into space. Could you have made a rocket that looks any more like a giant fucking penis? Seriously. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It was like, let's see. Let's bring up a photo of this freaking thing.
I heard about it.
Yeah,
they're talking about it yesterday.
You got to see this thing. Look at this. Look at that thing. My mother has one of those in her nightstand. Look at that. This is the only rocket launch my mother watched with her pants off.
Wow.
Look at this thing. Unfreaking believable. You know, a friend of mine said, you know what? If I'm a millionaire. Oh wait, here. Sorry, you missed the head. There you go. Look at that thing. If you look at, you remember Flesh Gordon, Johnny? Remember the movie Flesh Gordon? 1974, Flesh Gordon. Look at this.
Hugh Campbell's talking about
today.
it.
Look at that. Looks just like the Flesh Gordon ship.
Wow.
It's one small step for man, one giant step for penis. Look at that. It looks just like the damn thing. That was a joke rocket, and there it is. Unfreaking believable. And here's the new ad for Virgin Galactic. Showing their ship. Or Virgin Galactic, our spaceships don't look like penises. That's the new ad Virgin Galactic's putting up next week, Johnny.
Nice.
Great. Yeah. So I said to someone, I said, what's the deal? Because I'm looking at this giant wang going up in space, and someone said to me, you know what, Mancuda? If I'm a billionaire and I could finance my own space program, you're damn straight I'm going to make it look like my penis. Yeah, because I can. Well, I guess it makes sense. And they're apparently they're catering trips to Uranus soon. Did you hear about that, Johnny?
Breaking news.
Breaking news. You heard it here first, folks. They're catering trips, and we have a recreation of the launch for those that missed it, just so you could see the actual launch. Basically, over the PA system, because apparently no one told Bezos about this, and the countdown was something like 10, 9, 8, 7. Mr. Bezos, don't get in the ship. It looks like a giant dong. What? No. 3, 2, 1. No. Launch. And then the biggest dick is launched into space. Help! 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 Definitely the biggest dick got launched into space right there.
Bye-bye, David.
Take care, David Crosby. Take care, David Crosby. Oh, Christ. I'm serious. I've never seen a launch like that. I was just looking at that. I didn't know what the rocket looked like. I watched the Virgin launch, whatever, 9 days ago, or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like a Virgin. It looks like a space plane. It looks cool. It's a cool ship. Okay. And then I turn on the news and it's like, okay, we're getting ready for launch. And I'm just like, I'm watching the news. Is this the news? I couldn't believe I couldn't believe that goddamn thing. I couldn't believe that. I was just like, I'm looking at Blue Rhino. And I'm like, are you seeing what? It's a dong. Yeah, no, it's a dong. It blew my freaking mind. Unbelievable. So you imagine that teenage kid. You want to talk about entitled teenagers? You know, we talk about entitled teenagers. Oh, his dad bought him a new BMW. This guy's parents sent him into space to the tune of like $28 million. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna send my 18-year-old son because he hasn't been to space. You know, oh, Dad,
Wow.
I wanted a different rocket. I don't want to fly in a giant dong. Oh, Dad, you will get in that rocket. I paid good money to send you in space. Holy hell. Did you guys in the chat watch that thing? Unbelievable. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought I was watching like the Late Show or something. I thought it was a joke.
Was it yesterday or day before?
What was it? Yesterday, right?
I don't know. I was driving out of town yesterday. And I heard about it on the radio.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
They had mentioned how it looked kind of, you know.
Yeah,
that too.
Lenny Lou says, I almost messaged you on that, dying laughing. Yeah, I'm sure. And you know what? In that ship, you had Jeff Bezos and his brother. Talk about being in the family. What a great opportunity, right? Why don't I have a brother? That's the brother I want, Jeff Bezos' brother. And then you have the 18-year-old kid, and then there's an 82-year-old woman who just heard, I don't know if she's all with it or anything, but she just heard, hey, do you want a really big dick? Oh yes. It's like sending Mary up into space. Imagine just, Mary floating in the wheelchair and just unbelievable, right? Oh, it was this morning, Keith Campbell? Wow. I don't know, because my days drift into each other. Okay, it was this morning, I guess.
It was today?
It was today. All right. Shows you how much we're paying attention.
I heard about it, yes. Well, maybe that was today.
Johnny's predicting the future. Johnny's looking at his magic 8-ball. Will the rocket launch? Big dick in space. Could be. Okay.
Maybe before it launched, it already made news that it looked kind of weird. Maybe that's what it was, because I swear I heard about it yesterday.
It took the newsmen 24 hours to compose a serious face to be able to report that. They're like, okay, you got to keep it together. You got to keep it together.
10 hours ago.
This is Anderson Cooper looking at the launch.
Blue Origin. No, that was yesterday.
Was it yesterday or today? I don't know.
K Fox talked about it yesterday.
But when
Monday?
But everyone's saying it actually launched today. When is Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons going to come up with a Kiss rocket? Because that's actually going to go into space. Jay Hannon, you came in just in time. We're talking about giant penis launching into space. Hi, Allie.
Okay, they're saying, talking about guitars and metal. Tuesday morning, 7 a.m.
It was this morning, Wayno says.
Somewhere, the company will launch it. Okay,
Keith watched it live on Fox this morning. Yeah.
Okay, but I guess they were talking about it though. It looks like it's it's been making news for the past couple of days anyway.
I'm sure
because of that.
Yeah, because of what it looks like. Holy shit. Didn't when you watched, remember Austin Powers? Remember Dr. Evil got away in a rocket that looked like a giant penis? This looks more like a penis than even that.
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell. Dong 1, go for launch. Dong 1, go for launch. Nobody had the nerve to tell Jeff Bezos, Mr. Bezos, your rocket. Yes. What about the rocket? I spent my life working on it. Yes, it's wonderful, sir. But it looks like a success. You mean? Well, yes. It looks like my dream come true. I suppose. Yes. But it looks like a what? Like a win, like a win, sir, like a win. Yeah. Nobody told Jeff Bezos. Not for nothing, but penis.
It's possible. I mean, if he designed the thing, he knows, and
or subliminally he's craving cock. I don't know.
That's an inside joke. That's he has to know that.
My mother was watching that launch like, well,
if it was a success, you'll probably see, that'll be the standard in rockets.
We need more penis in space. I want veins on the side of mine. Elon Musk is painting his flesh colored.
That's
circumcising it.
That's probably why they designed that to look like that, is to make the news and to get people talking about it, because nobody cares about the space program for years now. It's just people fall asleep watching that stuff.
Oh, listen, I had an erection watching stuff. Lenny Lou says I had to hose Mary down. Mary's sitting there like, she's trying not to diddle in front of the neighbors that were over. Like, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom for a moment. Whew, it's hot in here, huh?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, Jana says they have 60 people already signed up for it. And hey, Zach Thong. Hey, Jay Hannon. Hey, everybody.
Jay, send me a message. Jay, send me a message. Yeah, I mean, definitely they did that just to get the attention, because why else? why else?
Would you have a big bulbous circumcised head on your rocket? Is that
very obvious?
You think? Oh my God. Unbelievable. I've never seen nothing so obvious as that dong launch.
Mm-hmm.
It just blew my mind. It's like, remember that Twilight Zone episode, To Serve Man?
Yes.
Where, they get the book To Serve Man, and they're trying to decipher it. And then, they're inviting humans onto their spaceship to go into space. And then the woman translates it. Oh my God. Mr. What was his name? Mr. Chambers, don't get on that ship. It's a penis. And then the alien just shoves him on board. Sends off.
The main actor who played the alien in that
was Lurch.
Was right? Actually he played Jaws in.
Oh, is the Jaws guy?
Yeah,
I thought Lurch was the other guy. Weren't there two of them? There were two of them.
Oh, there were several. There were several of them. Yeah,
I thought you had Lurch and you had Jaws. I remember that episode, a great episode, but I never thought it would come true. Jesus Christ.
Came true this morning.
One giant leap for penis. Poor Mary hosing herself down. God. My mom's never watched space so intently as that rocket launch. Jesus Christ. I wonder if David Crosby will come back down, or if they'll just dump him up with the space junk. Keith Campbell says Vagina Galactic. They're going to change the shape of their ship just to keep up. Rock Daddy, hold my beer. Oh, yeah? You're in space first? Hold my beer. I'm going to launch a giant penis and the world will let me. Ha ha! Richest man in the world. One giant thrust for mankind, all right. Jeez. Truth is stranger than fiction. Yeah, Alice Martinez. I listen. You guys want to get a GoFundMe? I'm happy to go aboard the giant space penis. Get up 27 million, and I'm there. Let's see, for today's show and tell guitar, Fruitcake Tony is guessing Ted Nugent or Sebastian Bach. Well, Sebastian Bach, we should actually talk about Sebastian Bach. I'm not going to say whether you're right or wrong, but speaking of Sebastian Bach, so Sebastian is in the news. This is, if you guys haven't been paying attention, the 30th anniversary of the Skid Row album "Slave to the Grind," which is, in my opinion, one of the best rock albums of the 80s. Or actually, technically came out in 91. You want to get technical, but from an 80s band, I should say. That came out and it was instantly number one. Usually you have a hard time. That follow-up album.
How long though?
Huh?
How long was that actually number one?
How long was the Rocket?
No, the
the album.
The album. How long was that? In 91.
A lot of good stuff came out in 91.
Yeah, but I don't remember Skid Row being like huge in 91.
Oh, sure they were. Sure,
I remember them like the year before, like 89, 90. Definitely.
Yeah.
But by 90, 91,
when they
maybe.
first came out, I mean, obviously, they're backed up by Bon Jovi, so I mean, they're really, they're touring instantly. Sebastian Bach is this major rock presence. You have, a guy that's my height. He's about 6'4", really long hair, killer pipes, right? And good looking as all sin. He's got an energy of havoc that he just projects onto the audience. And I mean, this is one of the greatest frontmen of the 80s. You have certain guys that just command an audience. Sebastian Bach is one of them. So, they're coming off the success of that big album.
When you say 80s,
okay,
you're talking literally a year or two within that decade. You're not. See, that's the weird thing about certain genres and certain times of music, because 80s could be 1981, 82. Sure. There was no Sebastian. There was,
But you have to realize, when I say 80s band, I'm talking like, metal band of the 80s or hair metal or speed metal or whatever. I would say came out in the 80s.
I would say late 80s. Well,
they're 80s. I mean, they're an 80s band, late 80s, early 80s. I mean, you don't usually differentiate, but they're an 80s band. And here they are with their sophomore album. Everyone wants to see what they're doing, and they come out with Monkey Business as their first single, which is,
I remember that one.
Just a killer song, and the video where Bass is just screaming around, and the pipes that he hits in that first song. Oh my God, when he hits those highs, just incredible. So yeah, when that came out, it was just like bam. I mean, I remember picking that up new at like Tower Records, and there were just lines for it. Myself included. I was waiting too, because I wanted that fucking CD. I mean, you knew it was going to be good, and you were hoping it was going to be as good as the first one, and for the most part, it delivered. So, like, I don't know how long it stayed on the charts, but it came out. I think it was like it put up the John Biel signal.
John Biel. Because I remember 1991, because that was the year Van Halen put out Carnal Knowledge, which definitely was number one. Definitely number one. I don't remember Skid Row. Like, I remember the debut record.
I think they were the first hard rock album to debut at number one too, if I remember this right.
Let me see. What is it? Skid Row.
Slave to the Grind.
Let's go to
I think it was like number one out of the gate on the hard rock charts.
Let's go to Wikipedia, where it's 100% truth.
No fake news here.
Slave to the Grind is the second studio album by American heavy metal band Skid Row, released on June 11th, 1991 by Atlantic Records. The album displayed a harsher sound than its predecessor and lyrics that avoided hard rock cliches. Okay, let's go to that. Let's see. Atlantic Records, produced by Michael Wagener? Wagener?
I thought it was pronounced Wagner.
Is that how you...
I could be wrong. I usually am.
That's how you spell Wagner. Monkey Business, released May 91. Wasted Time was another single. In a Darkened Room was another one. Let's see. Where is the... charts. Here we go. peak position number 3 on the Australian albums chart. Let's see, where's US? US. Oh, number 1.
For how long?
Billboard 200.
Keith Campbell says it's pronounced Wagner. It's just a different spelling.
Yeah, there's like an extra E in there, so it looks like wagon or something.
And hey, old man Dan. And let's see. Cheech wants to know where's Paulie this morning. Paulie will be dropping in. We just don't know what time. He's got some personal stuff he's got on his plate today. And yeah, Hellstone brings up a really good point. Skid Row was never bigger than a support band, you know, and that's kind of surprising because like they had a lot of hits. I mean, think about it. You know, you had Youth Gone Wild, I Remember You, Quicksand Jesus, Monkey Business, 18 in Life. I mean, they had a lot of hits. But I guess because there were so many big acts that they were pairing together, usually they paired them with Bon Jovi. I remember seeing them with Aerosmith. I mean, you're not going to fill up a stadium the way Aerosmith does.
I saw them with Van Halen.
There's a great example.
But then again, okay, so this album came out 91. What, their other album came out, what, 89?
Probably. I think 89.
89, yeah, 89.
And yeah, R2, R3 Locking Nuts, Sebastian Bach absolutely brought girls to shows. Because I mean, come on, the guy's a fucking Greek god with a set of pipes. I mean, what a frontman! What a frontman!
Mm-hmm.
Fruitcake Tony saw him with Guns N' Roses. See, that's the thing: Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Van Halen, you know, Bon Jovi. These guys are all headliners. And look, Skid Row was a really, really strong opening act for them. Not strong enough to fill stadiums, but strong enough to open for the big boys of the time.
Right. But also what I was saying earlier though is about their album, their debut came out in 89.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Nirvana cleaned everybody out by 93.
Okay.
You know, and then Green Day and you know, there's other bands after that. Sure. So because their album came out at the very end of the 80s, 89, you know, maybe if the scene didn't change, maybe they would have become, you know, a much bigger stadium, you know, not opening headline.
A stadium headliner, sure. I could see that. I mean, here's the problem. You know, all of the 80s guys, you know, I mean, some of them came out with their best efforts in the early 90s. Slave to the Grind was an amazing album. Yeah, you know, Warrant came out with Cherry Pie, I think in 91 also. 90 or 91, I believe. You could look that up, or John Biel.
John Biel, wake up.
John Biel, what? Oh my God, the light in the sky. Got to put on the fucking costume. Got to get out there. Mouthful of kernels. No, but you know, I mean, Winger's third album came out around 92. I mean, a lot of these guys put out some really good material, but the scene was ready for a change, and Nirvana came out with Smells Like Teen Spirit, and that was that transitional song that sounded a lot like heavy metal, but also entering into grunge. And that transitional song just kind of led people into ready for that, you know, that change, that fist fucking. That
it was over. If you had a poodle do by that point, forget it.
Which I poodle did.
Forget it.
My hair looked just like Paul Stanley's, just the big black curls, just like I have now, but shorter, but longer rather. And I slicked it into a ponytail through the 90s and kept it going. But yeah, there was let's see, David J. Gormley says Cherry Pie was in 89. Was it in 89? I'm gonna Google it real quick. Let's see.
It probably was. It probably was.
I thought it was later.
I remember 1989. You know, I remember that year, and I do remember Warrant, Skid Row, Bon Jovi. I remember all this hair metal where it just
late 1990. So just before 91. So right around that time. A few months before Skid Row came out with that one. I mean, you also have to remember Guns N' Roses came out with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Van Halen came out with Fuck. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of good stuff going on right then, you know? So it's, yeah, the end of 1990, correct. Yeah. So, you know, it's just a thing where, you know, even though, you know, the Skids came out in the very late 80s, they're an 80s band. Even a band that came out in 1990 with that genre of music is considered an 80s band. You know, the 80s officially musically didn't end until, you know, right about when Nirvana came out, like 92. You know, just about then. Bozique was listening to Use Your Illusion 2 yesterday. Great freaking albums. Great out, and they released them the same day too. Great stuff. So Sebastian Bach is celebrating the 30th anniversary of Slave to the Grind. Now I say Sebastian because on the flip side, you have Dave Sabo and Skid Row, and they were going to do some sort of 30th anniversary thing in 2019. They were talking about it, and then they're like, maybe we'll just do something for the 40th anniversary. And Sebastian Bach said, hey, I'm going to do something for the 30th anniversary. If any of you guys want to join me, I'm opening the door. I'm welcoming you in. But there's so much bad blood. You know, I mean, I know Sabo and Sebastian texted, and that was pretty much it. Rob Affuso, the drummer, the original drummer, came and joined Sebastian for one show, like right before COVID hit. You know, but the band itself, Dave Sabo's stance is, look, I have Skid Row. Skid Row is my band. Okay. Skid Row is my band, and I have to do what's good for my band. So I'm going to do my Skid Row shows, and Bass, you do whatever you want because, you know, you're not in my band. So, okay. So now Sebastian is doing something for the 30th anniversary, and what a great deal. He's going on the road. He's doing a tour starting in September in New York and carrying it through to, was it San Diego? To San Diego, December 17th. So September 21st, he's starting in New York, doing a lot of dates around the US and finishing December 17th in San Diego. And what he's going to do, he's going to perform the whole fucking album, which is great. Start to finish, he's going to do Slave to the Grind, boom to boom. And that's it. I mean, he's going to do other stuff, I'm sure. I mean, you know, look, it's a concert. He'll do the whole album. I'm sure he'll sing Youth Gone Wild and 18 in Life and I Remember You. I mean, you're not going to go to the Rolling Stones show and not hear, you know, their greatest hits. You're not going to go see, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to go see Sebastian Bach and not hear Youth Gone Wild as the closer, probably. So he's doing that tour. Kaleido is going to be the opening band. For those of you that don't know Kaleido, check them out. Check out the song My Enemy. That's my favorite one from them. They have a lot of good songs though. Kaleido, Kaleido, like kaleidoscope, like that, which is something I caught my mom doing once to my dad, like that. Kaleido is it's a female vocalist, very, very similar to that angry energy that Sebastian has in her own band. And they're great. They're a good heavy band, very solid, lot of good songs. So Kaleido will be the opening, but I'm jazzed. I think that's going to be a really, really good tour. Sebastian still has his voice, which is, you know, something not every 80s vocalist has nowadays. So I'm really excited about that. So Sebastian Bach, Slave to the Grind, 30th anniversary tour. Also for you real Skid Row geeks like myself, if you remember the album cover, that big album cover was painted by Sebastian's dad. It's a monster sized mural hanging in the living room of his house now. Wish I had it. The thing about that is Sebastian's dad painted it with models posing and all sorts of stuff. It took him a while. And he's going to show, I don't know how he's going to do this on YouTube or some other way, but he's going to show the process of making that album cover. there's behind the scenes photos of the process of his dad with models making that album cover and stuff like that. And yeah, today's T-shirt, by the way, in honor of the Bezos penis rocket of Blue Origin. Help! Help! God damn it! Help! The big dick flying into space. I wore my Quagmire shirt. Giggity goo, giggity goo, giggity. So thank you for pointing that out, Blackjack Guitar. Yeah, so that's Sebastian Bach. And let's see. Who else did we want to talk about? Let's talk about Guns N' Roses came out with a fun piece of merch because weed is getting legal everywhere. I don't particularly myself party, but all my friends do.
I never have. I've never touched it. Nobody believes me.
No, Johnny. I've never smoked weed, smoked tobacco, done any sort of pill, done any sort of coke or heroin or anything. I've never been drunk. I'm pure straight. I'm pure straight with that stuff. Now, make no mistake. Through the 80s, I was a whore, so I did have my vices, you know, and those I was very addicted to, still am. But I never, and everyone knows this because I've always been very public about it. I've never touched a drug. And that's very hard because in the 80s, I was always around the rock scene. And as an actor on shows, in movies, things like that, you get offered that stuff for free. I mean, I've been to backstage of movie sets where like they've had platters of cocaine. Just like, you know, here you go. You want some, you want a bump, you want to go some weed. I mean, it's all free.
As a touring musician too. You see all that stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
I have friends that have done all that stuff. They do it. They've done it in front of me, you know?
Yeah. No, look, I've never even tried it. I'm proud of it. Look, it's not a thing I judge anyone for doing it because everyone I know does it. Yeah. It's just a personal choice. I'm sure the same thing with you. It's just a personal choice. It's no big deal, no right or wrong. It's just, you know, for the record.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it at all. But for those of you that do partake, which is 99.999% of my friends, there is the brand new licensed Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction bong.
Let's see. Oh, here it is.
So for those of you that have 75 spare bucks, big Guns N' Roses fan, drunks are bad, okay?
Wow. Let's see. These websites. These sites are so horrible. It's impossible to navigate.
Welcome to Tech More on Tuesday. A day filled with problems.
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
we'll share it with the audience so they could see too. We're gonna get high. We're gonna get high. There we go. So he got the Guns N' Roses logo on it. The Appetite. That's cool, right? You guys in the chat buy that? Last week we were talking about Iron Maiden's cooler. This week we're talking about Guns N' Roses bong. Hey, listen, we all love merch. We all love merch. And if you party, that's kind of fun, right?
Definitely for collectors that partake. I
think everyone partakes. What do you guys think? Cotton Head says pretty cool. Erica Foreman, absolutely. 37 years of stoner. My friend, ever since I've known you, Erica and I are long-term friends. And she's absolutely a partier. So that's on your Christmas wish list.
Water pipe, they're calling it.
Yeah. Yeah, Kiss condoms. I have some of those. There's nothing like sticking Gene Simmons on the head of my shaft. Oh, Bozique says I'll probably put jelly beans in it. You remember that episode of Facts of Life where Natalie gets talked into buying 4 bongs on the idea that she thinks it's for melting jelly beans? Mrs. Garrett almost has a heart attack. Natalie, that's for smoking marijuana. Illegal drugs. What, Mrs. Garrett? No, it's for melting jelly beans. Nice. Yeah, why carve it out of an apple when you there you go. Yeah, it's got all the skull faces on it. Yeah, no, it's the whole thing. Look, if you look around it, you can see at the bottom it's got like Slash's skull face, and it's got all the skull faces on it. It's a cool looking bong. I mean, like I said, I don't party, but I think that's a cool thing. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
right?
for a collector.
Yeah, or just casually. If you're a Guns N' Roses fan and you smoke up, why not? Look at that.
It's cool.
I think that's great.
You know, but if the cops bust your door down, that's the first thing you want to smash.
No, because it's legal in a lot of states now. It's kind of mark my words, Johnny. It's legal in a lot of states, and in the ones that it's not, it's going too soon. They're fighting right now in Congress to legalize it through the nation, and they should. I mean, how long is this going to go on jailing people for weed? That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Erica's already looking. You said Christmas, John. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's cool, right?
Cool.
There you go. Oh man, Dan, I tried weed, wasn't for me, and I haven't drank since my 20s. It's all good. Hey, look, you like it, you don't like it, all good. But if you party, it is a cool frickin' bong. So there you go.
Oh, and just as a collectible, if you're a fan of the band, I mean, that's
if you're a fan of the band, even if you don't party, why not?
I mean, especially since it's licensed.
Put your candle in it. If you don't party, just put a candle in it and keep it on your shelf. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Janice says it's called artisan glass. There you go. If you collect artisan glass and you happen to like smoking from it, there it is. Guns N' Roses bong. Very cool. Thank you, Guns N' Roses. Let's see what else we got. Speaking of things you can buy, I'm filling out your advance wish lists for Christmas, Johnny, so you could make notes. I'm going to get this for Bozique and get this for Jay Hannon, and I'm going to get this for you're filling out your wish lists. Metallica coming out with a book. The 24.95 book is what it's called, named after their early CD. So August 15th from Backbeat Books, written by Ben Apatow, who's a rock journalist. And this is going to be basically what they're calling the definitive Metallica book. So, okay, you have Metallica, biggest band worldwide, 130 million albums sold, biggest metal band ever. They have books on them, but here's a book made with the band, made with a lot of fans that had a lot of, behind the scenes photos and stories and stuff like that. So it's going to be part definitive facts, like stuff you could probably, look up on the internet, and then part of it behind the scenes stuff you didn't know about that you'll see, but it's supposed to be from the beginning right up to 2021, the definitive Metallica book. Something that David Crosby would look at and say he doesn't like. So I think it's going to be great. Look, everyone's a fan of Metallica. $24.95, not a lot to spend, makes a great gift. And, if you like reading rock books, which I very much do, that's the type of thing that I think is probably going to be very cool. I'm going to buy Dio's autobiography first, but if you're interested, they're taking pre-orders now for Metallica, the $24.95 book, coming out officially August 15th. Here's the cover. Scroll down a little bit.
Oh, these stupid websites. Dang it. None of that was there when I hit share. And now we got a stupid ad. Dang it.
That's all right.
All right, you guys saw it.
Speaking of stupid ads, did I mention Bang energy drink? Delicious Bang energy drink. Melt some brain cells today with Bang. Nothing follows down a couple of bong rips like Bang energy drink.
You could drink Bang out of that.
You can make a bang bong.
Bang bong.
Make some bang bongs. It's kind of Bang bongs. It's a proud sponsor of the show. Right now, the president of Bang is watching this and pulling his fucking hair out. God damn it, man. Could it stop? Just stop. You're killing sales. Even with our new wild and watermelon flavor that you're promoting heavily. Speaking of things to buy, you notice a running theme here? We have a lot to get to, but we'll get to it all. Speaking of things to buy, George Lynch coming out with a new instrumental album on August 20th that I also believe you could pre-order now. And it is called Seamless. Johnny's going to bring up a copy of the album cover. By the way, if you drain some Bang energy drink into your anus and let someone drink it out, it's called Bung energy drink. There you go. Trips to your anus on Blue Origin. And yeah, Chris Bevan, I do dig Pink Cream 69. I like a lot of the European bands. I do. They absolutely should have been bigger in the States. They're very big in Europe. But I do like Pink Cream 69. You have that photo yet, Johnny? George Lynch, Seamless. Now, again, this is going to be a solo album. He's got a bass player and a drummer there, but there's no vocals. It's going to be an instrumental album, just like when you pick up one of Vi's instrumental albums where he's trying different sounds and experimenting things and trying stuff like that. It's the same thing, but now George Lynch is doing it. And he's already released. There you go. That's the cover of Seamless. And look, I'm a very big fan of Lynch. I love his work. I'm friendly with the guy. I've loved Dokken forever. And, I always love everything George does. The guy's a workaholic. He really, really pours energy into every product he does. Here's a solo album that, again, like Vi, you're going to hear a lot of experimental things. You're going to hear a lot of variations of sounds. Sure, he'll have some stuff, that you'll like as a hair metal guy, but then you'll say, oh, this is something, off kilter that someone like Vi would do, or someone like Tony McAlpine did, or stuff like that. And I'm not trying to give specific examples, but I just want you to get a feel, because if you listen to the first track he just released, and you could stream it now, it's called Death by 1,000 Licks, which sounds like a blowjob I'd really like to get. That's how I want to go, Johnny. Death by 1,000 Licks. You check that out. That is George playing a really unstructured song. And when I say unstructured, it's kind of him just going wild. He just basically said, okay, I'm going to cut loose. I'm just going to cut loose totally and just see what comes out. This is going to be off the cuff, improv. Let's see what sounds I could do. I'm going to do a riff here and a solo here and just come up with some crazy new sounds here. And I'm just going to do it unrehearsed. And that's what he did for this song. So check that out. Stream that. That's your homework today. Check out George Lynch's new song, Death by 1,000 Licks. And again, it's not going to be the lead single for the album, but it's a good example of just something that you could look at and say, wow, George is really going all out on this album to be like real experimental and try a lot of different genres in this one solo album, this one instrumental album. Let's see.
That's cool.
Go ahead, Johnny.
By the way, are you watching the chat through StreamYard currently? I'm
watching it on YouTube.
Okay. All right. I was just reminded because right now there's a Best Buy ad there. I don't know what they're doing, but right before there was a StreamYard ad. Oh, I can't change it. Anyway, there it is. That reminds me, this channel is in the beta for what's called StreamYard infinite scrolling for the chat. So, like currently, I can see this. Like anybody that's done these shows, or has been a guest on any of these shows and has had the StreamYard chat, it's very blocky. It changes in like blocks, and it's very weird to keep up with stuff. Anyway, we're this channel is in the beta for the where the chat is like scrolling in real time like the YouTube chat. So it's very, very exciting.
Oh, all right.
That makes sense.
Hold on, I'm getting a chubby right now.
You have to actually know what I'm talking about.
Yiggity, let's have sex.
I was just reminded by that. Anyway, thank you, StreamYard. We love you.
Thank you, StreamYard. We do love you. Exciting stuff. Let's see. Bozique has a question. My question is, do you think a newer band in the hair metal vein can break out and become big again? That's a great question, Bozique. Here's the thing. When you say big again, big now is very different than big was in the 80s. And I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos's penis ship. Back in the 80s, when you were considered big, you would fill arenas. You would have a certain number of record and CD sales. Your video would be rotating on MTV a certain amount of times. Now we're in a different position where big for a successful band is a lot of touring. It's a lot of streaming. It's a lot of downloads. But it's not the same thing. Acts that are, big, like when you think big, you think someone like Taylor Swift. Okay. She's filling arenas and whatnot, and she's downloading and downloading and downloading. I don't know what it would take to consider a band or a hair band like that big. I don't see it getting as big as someone like Taylor Swift.
No hair band is going to take the place of anybody like Taylor Swift today
as a mega star. But that's
never going to happen.
But with that said, I do see a band like, and I'm using this as an accurate example, Greta Van Fleet getting a huge following and filling up arenas. I've been seeing that. I've been seeing them getting streamed a lot, getting watched on YouTube a lot. So I guess in a long and short of it, I don't see that genre in general at the moment being big, but I do see a lot of hope in that the youth today seems to be gravitating a lot toward looking at the 80s in a bit of resurgence, for bands like Greta Van Fleet and a bunch of other, new hair metal bands coming out of Europe and even in the States. Like I told this story before, a good friend of mine, his son, 13-year-old guitarist in a teenage band, they play hair metal songs, and they come up with, they do a lot of covers. They do Firehouse and they do Rat and stuff like that. And their age group is eating it up. They've been playing clubs and stuff like that. So there is interest, especially with that resurgence of, the stadium tour of
it's retro.
Yeah, it's retro.
Retro
exactly.
And for people, I'm a little younger than you, but I mean, I was around
by a week
for a lot of that too, but it's retro. And so for people like us, it's something, it takes us back to when we were that age. Kids that are that age now, they're like, oh, that's like dad's music.
It depends. Like, again, Greta Van Fleet, their audience is mostly a young audience, but they're playing Zeppelin. They are. I mean, they're originals, but the guy is, it's Page and Plant. I mean, that's what they're doing. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying, Johnny?
I've never heard them.
You've never listened to them? Okay.
No.
I was not a fan at first because, again, I said, oh, you guys are just aping Zeppelin. Come on. But then I'm listening to him. This guitarist is doing these 10-minute solos, and the singer is really sounding like he does in the studio. I mean, the kid's really talented. And they're not just doing covers of Zeppelin, they're coming up with their own shit. It sounds like if Zeppelin continued what Zeppelin would sound like, and the idea that they have that young audience, and I mean a big fucking audience, it inspires me to think that, hey, this genre in its newest form does have an audience. They are coming in at a young age and listening to. Now, maybe it's not exactly like us wearing, the spandex and the purple pirate shirt and the hair out to here, and, not exactly the same, but it's that similar metal genre. And I like that the younger generation is getting into that and forming all sorts of bands like that, especially, through record companies like we've talked about Frontiers Records out of Italy, which are, a lot of American bands like, LA Guns and Heat and things like that are doing. Well, Heat's Netherlands, but.
Yeah. But the thing is, to get back to being like any kind of hair style band or any type of 80s type of band now that's brand new, that will never take over mainstream because
I don't
because it's really, it's not new. It's not totally brand new. It's and yes, for people in their 50s and 60s, it takes them back and
But R&B isn't new either. R&B's been happening since the 70s. Rap's been happening since the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying I'm predicting the future. I'm just saying I see a place for it. I see it growing.
Oh no, there's a place for everything now, thanks to the internet.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
this is such a smaller world now where there's a place for everything. Anybody can start. What's the band?
Popcorn the band.
Popcorn. No, the one you were talking about them last week. They're the Michael Starr. Michael Starr.
Oh, Steel Panther. Steel Panther.
Steel Panther.
But Steel Panther's a novelty niche. They're a comedy act. I mean, make no mistake, they're real musicians. They're writing songs, but they're comedy songs. They're the type of songs that like I would write. Gods of Pussy. I mean, that's something I would write too. If they're all really sexual, funny 80s metal songs, and they're great. I love them. They're not going to be playing arenas, but
no.
I mean, look, the stadium tours for guys like you and me. The stadium tours for, guys in our genre, our age genre, as that's the bands we grew up with. Paulie and I'll go to that show. But, guys like Greta Van Fleet are drawing in a newer, younger audience. Now, I don't know where the music scene will transition to because every decade things change. When it gets played out too much, that's how grunge took over metal. It got played out too much. Something new appeared, and boom. I mean, how much R&B is going to be popular? I don't know. Disco at one time was all over the place too. You don't know.
I think there's and it's weird to say this on a metal show, but it's the truth. There is such a bigger audience for R&B.
There absolutely is.
And there's so much more of a crossover for R&B. You go into rap, you go into pop, you go into dance. It covers all this different stuff, even rock. There's rock stuff that's based in R&B.
But there's also a massive following for metal as well, whether it be black metal, speed metal, thrash, hair metal, whatever you like.
There is, but I'm pretty confident I can say this. Most metal, it will never be mainstream ever again. It's had its time. It's had its place.
It had its time, but never say never. Never say never, because history repeats itself in a lot of ways. And I don't think it'll be exactly like the 80s. I think there will be a version of metal that'll evolve.
But it'll always go back to the 80s because that was when it was new, when it was the brand new thing, when it was mainstream.
No, you got to think about that. I mean, everything
In the chat,
evolved.
what do you
Everything
think?
evolved from the blues. Everything evolved from the blues. You started with the blues, then you got guys like Elvis and James Brown
The
and Little
blues,
Richard, and
the blues evolved into everything.
well, that's what I'm saying. Everything
music
came out of the
starts
blues.
From
Everything came out of the blues. Yes.
Yeah, it just went in
But
different
that's what I'm
directions.
saying. It all evolved from the blues. But I'm saying, don't say no, rock is dead, because, again, you got, Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis, and, then you had the Beatles to the Rolling Stones to Kiss to Aerosmith to, the 80s metal guys. They won't
But
all be the same, but there'll be variations of rock or metal
there'll be
somewhere
variations.
always.
There'll be variations of it, but we are very lucky that we are living in this time right now with bands like Aerosmith, Kiss, Van Halen. Because
for sure. I think this is the greatest era of music ever. Personally, I think the 80s personally brought out so much innovation, creativity, guys that played their own instruments, wrote songs, and a lot of catchy stuff. So absolutely.
But the 80s was based on the 70s, which is based on the 60s. I mean, it all goes back. You can always
it's generational. It's generational. But there's always some form of rock of some sort going through a generation, whatever it is. But Bozique's talking big crowds, mainstream notoriety, good money. Not the occasional stuff on YouTube. Do I ever think it'll get back to that? I think at some point there will be artists, again, like Greta Van Fleet, and I'm just using them as an example because that's the biggest one I could think of that's new, that will fill up stadiums. I do feel that way. Do I think it'll take over the genre? I don't believe so. I don't think so. But
I mean, but it's still, it's very tricky with what's happened in the last year with there being no stadium shows or whatever. I mean, the music scene, you think it changed with the internet, with pirating records. No, this last year has totally changed everything. And I don't think it'll ever truly be the same. Not in our lifetime. I don't think. But I guess all I'm saying is what was popular 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it does come back. Every 20 years. I mean, that's what Greta Van Fleet is now. They're a flashback to 40 years ago, actually.
But that's the idea. They're
false flag.
What?
False
we got some money. Thank you, false flag. Let's see. Metal has always evolved from Sabbath right through, and remember, the guitar will never die. See, and that's the thing. That's my point. Some variation of rock or metal will always exist. Whether it hits big or not, that remains to be seen. I can't answer that, because if you would have asked me, I wasn't alive, but when disco was big, if you would have said, hey, I predict that guitar rock is going to make a big comeback. What are you talking about, man? Here, take a bump. I'll meet you at Studio 54. We're going to trip the light. Fantastic. I love the nightlight. I got the boogie. You would never have fucking imagined that Bon Jovi is, shot through the heart. You never would have seen that coming. So I won't say never.
Well,
because you never know how big a change it's going to take, how big a 360 it's going to be, or 180 it's going to be.
The thing is, Desmond Child wrote that song, and he was also in the band in the 70s. That was pretty popular.
Okay. As well. But there are other talented writers that will also step up and will, come up to that point. And by the way, thank you, Wayno. Brings up a great point. 100 people in the chat right now. Take a second, leave a like on the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, because we love to get into people's suggestion box of a show to watch, even though it's a waste of their time. But you know what I'm saying? Just take a second, leave a thumbs up on the video, smash that like button, please. But yeah, so there's your answer, Bozique. I don't have a definitive answer. Obviously, my guess is sometime someone will break through a change and be playing a guitar. And I don't think it'll be the mainstream type of music, because rock never really has been, other than like Elvis and the Beatles, even during the 80s, you still had a lot of stuff. You had pop, you have alternative, you had new wave. It was, the 80s was a big variety. Metal was a big part of it, but it wasn't the dominant, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't dominant form of music.
Metal was metal. I mean,
metal.
I mean, the thing is, you can look at it where, and if you guys agree with me in the chat, let me know. If you don't, disco had a very, very short life in the 70s,
but dominating,
very short,
very dominating.
Hair metal, same thing.
Well, hair metal had a long time. I mean, you could argue, not counting the 70s of Aerosmith and Kiss, but like hair metal per se, you could like put that at 82, 83, really getting in there, maybe even a little earlier.
There's certain bands like Aerosmith, Kiss, Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. Those are certain bands that you really can't, they're there regardless.
Sure.
And you
rock.
Can't,
they're hard rock. They're hard rock.
You can't really,
I mean, I don't want to micro pigeonhole sleaze, hair, glam. I don't want to micro manage all these little genres. The idea is just through the 80s and into the 90s, metal lasted a while. That genre lasted a pretty damn long time. And, even though it's small, it's seen a resurgence now. Again, new AC/DC, new Iron Maiden that we're going to talk about soon. And some other stuff. Going
back to my point, though, it's having a resurgence now, but it's not going to take over mainstream.
No, I agree. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But I do feel it will get bigger. And again, it will get smaller. But again, it won't be like the 80s. It'll be a variation of metal.
It won't go away. It'll never go away.
Sure.
But what I was going to say earlier, though, is the classic bands, the staples, AC/DC, Van Halen, Kiss, Led Zeppelin. Half of those bands now they're gone. They're gone. We'll never see them again.
Going or gone or
we'll
getting.
We'll never see them again. And we're in the time now where we're losing all those bands.
Well, sure, because people are just getting old. That's just the fact. I mean, look, AC/DC just came out with new product. I don't know how long they could keep that up, but it's a fantastic album. Iron Maiden, which we're about to talk about, just came out with, or is about to come out with, their newest album, their 17th album. Product is amazing, still going good. But then you have other bands, you have the stadium tour. Motley Crue's not coming out with new music. They're touring. Same with Poison. I don't see new music coming out of them. Def Leppard probably come out with something new. They keep coming out with stuff. Thank you, False Flag.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, the thing with new music, though, with a lot of these bands, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It's only the hardcore fans of these bands want the new music. Casual fans just want to hear the hits.
Well, look, everyone goes to the concert. You want to hear the hits. You don't go to a Kiss concert without wanting to hear Rock and Roll All Night in Detroit Rock City. You want to hear the hits. Of course you want to hear the hits. That's any band, But yeah, I mean, look, Queensryche keeps coming out with new music. God bless them.
With making, records these days, there's no money in new records. There really isn't. No,
not comparative. I mean, make no mistake. The money is in touring and the money is in merch.
Well, that's the problem with what happened last year. It's not in touring.
Well,
as far as right now, merch, I think, yes.
The world is stopped until everyone gets vaccinated and we beat this thing. But, I mean, look, the fact is, as far as, where the money is under normal conditions, minus a pandemic, touring is where the money is, and merch is where the money. They don't sell albums the way they did. Paulie and I buy CDs. A lot of people just download it. They stream it, they download it.
Thank you, False Flag. They haven't sold albums in 20 years because of downloading. Music
we'll
is
talk
free.
about Clark.
Music is free now. Music is totally free, and it's the way.
Technically, yeah.
It's the way, if you're in a
It
band,
is.
I mean, this is the greatest time, and it's a combination. This is the greatest thing to ever happen to people in entertainment. This is the worst thing to ever happen to people in entertainment.
Sure.
It's like you're right in the middle. And yeah.
Well, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, rock and metal will always have resurgences. Will it be the mainstream? It hasn't been the mainstream since like the 60s and the 50s, So, I'll be happy when I see stuff. I'm always happy when I see stuff. Let's move on because we got a bunch of stuff to cover. I'm just going to catch up on the chat here a little bit. Hey, Nelson Rodriguez.
Nelson.
Let's see.
Whatever happened to Nelson? Are they coming back? Oh yeah, Nelson Muntz. Did you know the woman?
You meant the two blondes.
Did you know the woman that played Bart also played Nelson? She did both voices.
I think so, right? Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah. Let's see. DK Wilson says, try Greta Van Fleet. Please don't compare them to Zepp. They aren't nearly as talented. Make no mistake. Led Zeppelin is one of the greatest bands of all time. I'm just saying, as far as style wise, they're that style, and these guys are very talented. I got to give them credit. I'm not saying they're just as good as Zeppelin. They sound a lot like Zeppelin, but look, Zeppelin were innovators. They came out and did something totally different. These guys aren't doing anything different. They're just carrying the torch. So yeah, no, I'm not comparing them directly to Zeppelin, because then same thing with Great White, same thing with although Great White has other talents, and same thing with Kingdom Come, other Zeppelin-esque bands. But Greta's carrying on the torch for them. But no, they're not as good as Zeppelin. No one will be as good as Zeppelin, because they're, Zeppelin is one of the legendary bands.
Yeah, there's only one Zeppelin, there's only one Van Halen,
one Pink Floyd, one Kiss.
Yeah, that's why they are what they are.
Yeah, Chris Bevan says we need another Kiss type band. Again, Kiss also innovators. There will be other innovators. We don't know what they'll do to, come out and be creative and catch our attention. But I'm very interesting,
Well, I thought according to Gene Simmons, there'll always be a version of Kiss out there.
Well, because Gene and Paul just want to put guys in the costumes and carry on the paycheck. So, I'm not saying that Kiss is unstoppable, but Kiss is a legacy. We could keep doing Kiss forever, and Gene and I could just lay back and get paid. Someone else could be Paul and Gene, and that's okay. Yeah, they'll carry that on forever. Hey man, if you created Batman, you always want someone in that costume, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just going through the chat. Go ahead. I'm just going through the chat. Catch up a little bit. I'm sorry, I've missed some questions and stuff, but Johnny and I were deep into that topic. Let's see. False Flag brings up a good point. Black Sabbath has evolved. I mean, bands are always evolving, so you're always going to have something different. And when that something different hits, it'll be popular. It won't be the mainstream, because rock was never meant to be the mainstream. Like I said, since the 60s was the last time rock was the mainstream. Let's see. Just catching up. Don't mind me. Nothing to see here. Lenny Lou says hair metal killed disco. So thankful. Me too. Absolutely. Although I do love that Kiss song. False Flag brings up Clerks 3. For those that don't know, Kevin Smith is putting together a third Clerks. I'm jazzed about it. I love Kevin Smith's work. He's creative. He is dirty humor. He's a comic book geek. I've met him a bunch of times. I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed about anything Kevin does. His work's genius. Really is. Let's see. What else we got? Kai Matthews asking about my mom. We talked about my mom earlier. Thank you, brother. Yeah, mom's doing as good as can possibly be expected. She's, got a pretty big health crisis right now. But look, every one of your words of kindness and things you've sent her, and all your well wishes, it all has made a big impact. So thank you all for that, because she really appreciates the audience too, and much love to you all from her. I'm sure. So let's see. Let's move on. Let's switch topics. Got a couple of things to cover. Let's see. Covered that. We'll cover later. Let's get into a big topic here. I'm sad to report this. This happened right after we went off the air last week. For those not familiar, I'm sure most of you guys and girls are, from the band Cinderella. We lost 2 main members there. Really, really great people that made a lot of great music. I'm talking guitarist Jeff Lebarr and keyboard Gary Corbett, who was in Cinderella and Kiss. He was the offstage keyboardist. Look, here's the thing. Jeff Lebarr was always considered one of those underrated guitar players. One of those, like Mick Mars is, a very solid, accomplished player that really is the signature tone of a band. You know, when you listen to Cinderella, Jeff Lebarr was screaming out there, just as distinct as Tom Kiefer's raspy voice was Jeff's guitars. And, you know, super nice guy, super funny guy. You know, I've met him at various times through the years. Very upbeat, very positive. And again, one of those guys that just loved his band. You know, 4 solid albums came out of Cinderella, and every one of them, you know, Jeff just screamed on. You know, clean, wonderful, catchy, just a great writer. And it's sad because he was in his 50s. So, you know, they haven't disclosed a cause of death, but it's well known. And again, I'm just speculating here. Don't take this as gospel. You know, they're speculating because Jeff has always had a lot of battles with substances. He's had battles with drugs and alcohol. And look, a lot of guys have. You know, a lot of guys in the rock scene have. A lot of friends of mine and yours have. And some guys, like, you know, Mark Kendall, walked out really clean and you know, got even better from it. And, you know, some guys like Janie Lane, unfortunately, you know, were passed away from it. They lost to it. They were beaten by it. There's no definitive answer of how Jeff passed away. The speculation is that it has something to do with substance abuse in some way. And the family put out a statement basically asking, you know, in lieu of flowers, if you could give something to you know, Jeff's favorite charity, which was a substance abuse. Do you see it in there, Johnny? It says something at the bottom of the statement.
It says donate to the Grammys Music Cares. Grammys Music Cares is what it looks like.
Is that what it said? I remember it said something regarding
in lieu of flowers, please consider donating to
music,
the Grammys
Music
Cares financial and
addiction recovery assistance program. There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess that was someone that at one time helped Jeff. And Jeff is survived by his wife and his son Sebastian. And it's sad. It's sad because here's a guy that was a part of all our lives. And left us with, you know, a legacy of music. When you create things, be it you're a musician or an actor or something, and you create product that lives on, that's something that's a gift to a lot of us. And, you know, Jeff was such a great player, a solid player, a tasty player, really, really, you know, well-rounded and creative and just, you know, like I said, an overall nice guy. It's sad because, you know, we've lost something. He left us something, but we've lost something. And I just want to say it's a tragedy always when we lose one of these guys, but in Jeff's case, it's twice as bad because here's a guy cut so young before his time. And again, I'm not definitely saying it was from something like substances, but that seems to be where the trail possibly leads. I guess we'll find out in time. But it's sad when someone dies that young. That meant so much to a lot of us, myself included. And not to take away, Gary Corbett, same thing. Here's a guy, I don't know, I forget what his cause of death was. I think, was it cancer related, or I think he had a medical issue though. But Gary Corbett, for those that don't know, Gary was a part of both Cinderella and Kiss. But here's the thing, there's a stigma in a lot of circles about keyboard players. If you remember when Van Halen's 1984 came out, people were ripping on Eddie. Oh, what are you playing keyboards, man? You're a guitarist. And yet you love I'll Wait. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff Eddie did with keyboards and a lot of great stuff, that Gary did with keyboards in Cinderella and in Kiss. But because of the stigma of being a keyboardist, they don't usually keep keyboardists on stage with the rest of the band. Some bands do. You have David Bryant of Bon Jovi. You have Casey Smith of Danger Danger.
Main member of that band, yes.
Like David Bryant of Bon Jovi or Casey Smith of Danger Danger. But Gary was, and thank you, Keith Campbell. Gary did pass of cancer, I thought he lost
lung
his
cancer.
That was it. He was a heavy smoker. Thank you. The thing about it is, a lot of bands didn't want to take the shit of, keeping a keyboardist on stage. So they have him play off stage, even though he's part of the songs. He's off stage where you can't see him. He's behind a curtain, but he's still part of that band. And this is where Gary was with Cinderella, with Kiss. And I know he was friends with a lot of guys in circles. And for Cinderella to lose two really good, solid players within a day of each other or 2 days of each other, something like that, both in their 50s, that's crazy. That's such a freaking tragedy for all of us. But of course, friends and family especially, my condolences go out. But it's so sad because, again, how often have you had a Cinderella song in your head? And you could hear both these guys on most of them.
Actually, Gary Corbett, I think he was in his 60s. I think he was early 60s.
I thought he was late 50s. Was he early 60s?
62.
Okay, my bad.
62.
And Jeff, I think, was 58.
But Gary, according to the internet here, is saying that he co-wrote Cyndi Lauper's "She Bop."
Oh, he worked on a lot of songs.
Which was a huge.
He worked with a lot of bands. He wrote. And for our purposes, he was in Cinderella and Kiss. But yeah, no, you're right. He absolutely worked with a lot of other bands, writing and playing keys on their albums. But touring, Cinderella had him. You probably were at those shows. If you were at a Cinderella show, Gary was off to the side stage playing with the band. But again, because of the stigma of being a keyboardist rather than a guitarist, I don't understand that, because I love the sound of keys. I love the sound of a keyboard in songs, in 80s songs. But again, maybe that's just me. But it's just sad though. It's just sad that within a day of each other to lose, two guys that wrote some great stuff. And so freaking young. That's what really upsets me. It's been really rough. It's been really rough. So condolences to the families of Jeff Lebarr, Gary Corbett. Rest in peace. Rock on for eternity. Rock in heaven. Very, very sad. And I said the same thing, old man Dan. Don't know what you got till it's gone. There you go. So with
Keith Campbell. Here, I can answer. I can field this one. I know this answer.
Shoot it.
Alan Fitzgerald was Van Halen's keyboard player behind the curtain.
And there was his lover, Gerald Fitz Allen.
during the balance tour. But no, Gerald Fitzgerald, Alan Fitzgerald. You guys know him from, he was the keyboard player in Night Ranger.
Halface also brings up that Gary led Debbie Gibson's band also. He got around.
Cool.
He got around because you have to remember, in the 80s, there was not a lot of call for keyboard players. So when you had a keyboard player, you know, a solid one like Gary, there was a lot of demand, and he could write.
Session.
That's a big thing.
Sounds
well, he was session, but he was also touring.
He was touring, but a touring musician. So he wasn't like actually in Cinderella, but he was the touring keyboard player for Cinderella.
Yeah, but he was consistent. He was you know,
like when
he was
they
always on those tours.
Like when they have all the pinups in Metal Edge. You didn't see him.
You didn't see Gary. You saw
he was a touring player, which is great because that meant he was making making real money. Doing that.
He was making solid money. The guy was always working. So, you know, God bless them both, and you know, rock in peace to the both of them. Let's move on to some better news. Let's talk about the best news I've heard all week is Iron Maiden's new album. We started talking about this last week because Iron Maiden was teasing us with the t-shirts of, you know, Balthazar's Feast, and you know, we knew the little clue WOTW, everyone guessed stood for Writing on the Wall. 2 days after we went off the air, the video hit for Writing on the Wall, and that's the first single off their new album, Senjutsu. And Johnny, bring up a shot of that album cover. This is Iron Maiden's 17th album, double album. And that video, holy shit. The first video is called Writing on the Wall. It's a little over 6 minutes, I think. And the video, it's an animated video, a lot in the vein of like Heavy Metal the movie. Okay, so if you guys liked Heavy Metal the movie, and you should because it's freaking awesome.
I saw that one.
There it is. Iron Maiden. You saw that?
I saw it when we released it in '97 in theaters. Nice. I was the only one in the theater watching it.
I have it on Blu-ray. I have the I literally have the framed poster in one of my guest bedrooms.
Did you see it in the theater?
No.
It's to see something like that in the theater is a pretty big event because
I love that. I've seen it like 100 times. I love that movie so much, though. I love that movie. I have some animation cells from it, I think, of Tarna, and I just love that movie. To have a framed poster of that movie in one of my rooms, you know, I gotta love the movie. So there you go. There's the cover of Iron Maiden's 17th album, Senjutsu. Which I guess is a fighting technique or planning of a fighting technique. I forgot the translation, but there's Eddie. And Eddie's drawn really cool. Eddie always looks good. I mean, this is one of the bands that I buy the CD of, and I also buy the album of, so I can have the artwork on the cover specifically. Because I really love Iron Maiden for a lot of reasons. And like I said, one of them is I love the artwork on the album covers. Give me a second here. It's a new artist too. If you notice, Derek Riggs was the original artist who drew most of the Eddie drawings that you see. So if you look at all the album covers, most of those were done by Derek Riggs. This one's not. I don't know. Johnny, could you look up who the new artist is that's drawing Eddie now? Whoever it is, I think he did a nice job. I mean, look, Eddie looks great. And if you look up, by the way, Halface says battle tactics or fighting tactics, he believes. I think you're right on what Senjutsu translates to. But look how cool that album cover looks. I love all the incarnations that they gave Eddie. And the thing is, in the video, if you watch the video, Eddie basically comes out as, a mystical samurai warrior, fighting an evil guy, in a post-apocalyptic kind of world. And through the video, there's all these Easter eggs of Iron Maiden. If you look through the video, you will see so many things. You'll see Icarus hanging off a destroyed bridge. You'll see a Peace of Mind ring that he's wearing. You'll see all clues back to, you'll see the Aces High goggles. You'll see all sorts of clues to other Iron Maiden songs throughout this whole video. And it's such a cool song too. Writing on the Wall, it's a really cool song. It's great. And it's interesting because as that wizard, samurai, mystic guy, Eddie summons these 4 horsemen of apocalypse. And the 4 horsemen are other incarnations of Eddie. So you see like Pestilence is Eddie from Power Slave. I think, let's see. I grabbed some screen grabs. Let's see. I really liked the video. I really liked the video. So let's just say, here we go. Okay, so let's see. The first Eddie is using the Killer's axe, the axe from Killers. He's carrying that. The second Eddie is carrying a scythe, so he's representing death. War is Eddie from Somewhere in Time. So you got the cyborg Eddie. And it's really cool. The way they did it, like, okay, so here's pestilence, famine rather. Or what is it? The 4 horsemen: war, pestilence, famine, and death. Is that it? So here's pestilence. This is Eddie from Power Slave. And look, he's got little Eddie locust coming out of his mouth to strike someone down. Then you have, there's Eddie from Somewhere in Time. He's representing war. So there's basically 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. There's death. There you go.
Cool. Yeah,
then,
I can't find who did the artwork, but yeah,
that is a lot. No worries.
That is a lot like the heavy metal.
Here's the cover to the single, which is basically like it looks like a scene out of the video. It's not specifically, but it's the same characters and drawing and whatnot. But there's so many Easter eggs through the video that you guys can find. It's such a cool freaking video. Like I said, look for the Easter eggs. It's like 100 of them. It's like there's an Easter egg for every mainstream song. You'll see the flag from the Trooper hidden in one area. You'll see there's a clock in there that's 2 minutes to midnight buried in the sand. There's I think a fridge from Can I Play with Madness. There's all sorts of stuff in that video. So that's Writing on the Wall. That's the video. Homework assignment, you guys go watch it because it's super fucking cool. Really, really great. Now here's the way that the albums are coming out. There's let's see. There's 10 songs. They're pretty long. They run from, let's see, I think the shortest is a little over 4 minutes. The longest is about 12 and a half minutes. So, typical Iron Maiden. There's some really cool long songs. They're coming out a couple of different ways. You have a standard 2 CD digipack. So that's one. You have a 2 CD book format. You have a deluxe heavyweight 180G triple black vinyl. Scroll down to those, Johnny. Just so you can see the images. There you go. Just so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's the triple black vinyl. There's a special edition triple silver and black marble vinyl. I think that's on the left side. You see there. That's from select retailers. Special edition triple red and black marble vinyl. That's in the middle. That's also from select retailers. Super deluxe box set with a CD, Blu-ray, and exclusive memorabilia. And then the digital album, streaming and download. So the 2 CD digipack, I think, is a regular CD and a digital download, is I think what the 2 CDs are. So I think it's 1 CD of music and then a second CD of digital. So it's not 2 separate CDs of music, but it's obviously it's a lot of music. I mean, 10 songs, and they're all really, really long. Let's see, released in all those formats. You could pre-order from music retailers as of tomorrow, Wednesday, the 21st. So you could start ordering those now. That's not the phone number to order it. That's Johnny's gonna have like thousands of viewers calling that number. Hey, I want to order the new Iron Maiden box set. This is Johnny Beane.
I get 100 texts a day to that number. Like
don't order from that number. That's Johnny's number. That's not where to order. Contact your local retailer and look online, go on Iron Maiden's website and see where you could order the formats you want. Because some of them, like the special vinyl colors, are only available from certain retailers.
Mm-hmm. And because a lot of times there's like a Target exclusive with a bonus track. There's Walgreens. There's a Walmart exclusive. There's all that different type of stuff all the time. Thank you to Leo Safko. He says the new Maiden artist is Mark Wilkinson.
Oh, thank you, Leo. There you go.
And by the way, the Guitarmoire was not custom built. It's just an armoire that I just put guitars in. I took the shelves out.
There you go.
Oh, it was custom built.
It's like the Lion Witch in the wardrobe. After the show, Johnny takes out the guitars and goes back home to Narnia.
Yeah. So it was custom built, but it wasn't built for guitars. That's just something I just did, customized with the lights as well. Oakland. It was made in Oakland, California.
David Shea Gormary, Power Slave was my favorite Iron Maiden album. There is no bad one. Just FYI. And thank you, Leo, for that. Let's see. Todd McFarlane needs to make a statue of that. Yeah, you bet. I love all the Eddies. The graphics are part of the fun of when you get new Iron Maiden product. Because I love the albums. I love the singles. Just because they have, cool album artwork. So you want like every format of the song just to be a completist, or at least that's me. I mean, Iron Maiden is one of those bands like Kiss that I just love the merch for, and I think a lot of you guys are the same way. Jay Hannon, their last good album was Dance of Death, 2003. Again, I like everything they've done. But again, it's a matter of taste. I just, maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses because I like the band so much. But, the fact is, I mean, Iron Maiden has a great, great following. This is why that cooler sold out so fast that we were talking about. But I'm really jazzed about this new 17th album. I can't wait to hear more from it. I love Writing on the Wall. If you haven't seen the video, watch it a bunch of times, because every time you watch it, you'll be scanning and stopping and looking. Oh my God, is that the Goggles from Aces High? Wait, is that Icarus hanging off the bridge? Is that the Scythe from, just watch through the video and find all the Easter eggs. And the song is great. So you'll find yourself listening to it over and over. And I can't wait to hear the rest of it, because, they put a lot of work into it. And, it's terrific, man. So I'm really glad. That's the best news I've heard in a while. And let's see, Somewhere in Time is a great Maiden album, Jay. It probably ties for me with Power Slave. Power Slave is my favorite, but I love Somewhere in Time. It really was.
I had that one when I was a kid because I'd learned that main riff off Somewhere in Time.
That's
the real high, dun, 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 that. That's one of the first riffs that I ever learned. So I had that one. So that one I do know. I do.
There's a lot of good stuff there. I'm just jazzed. I'm just totally jazzed about about the album coming out. I love the video. I love what they did with it, and I can't wait to see the rest of it. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. I'm really jazzed. All right, let's move on because we got a couple other stuff we still got to get to show and tell guitar. We got a bunch of stuff. Let's give a big thanks to Lexi Foxx of Steel Panther, or formerly of Steel Panther. Lexi just stepped out of the band recently. And look, you gotta tip your hat to the guy. Steel Panther has brought metal into a generation that was not into metal, years back, and they're still going strong. They write fun, sexy, dirty, really funny songs. They play all their own instruments. They write the songs. They make hilarious videos. And Lexi was a part of it until recently. Lexi decided to step down. He just wants a break from the music industry, and that happens. I mean, the guy put in his dues.
But wait a minute, wasn't Megadeth looking for a new bass player?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Lexi Fox and Megadeth. No, get out of the mirror, just like the pie, Lexi. Lexi will be looking in the mirror. Let's see him. Where is he? There he is. Lexi Fox, the great Lexi Fox. And, like I said, I don't know who Steel Panther is going to get to replace. I think it would be really funny if they got David Ellefson, and part of the shtick was he masturbates during the show. Because, I mean, they're all about sex humor, much like this show. And yet way more successful than this show. But that would be really funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if that dude joins that band, because
I think that would be hilarious. David Ellefson joining Steel Panther.
I mean, that'd be a way for him to laugh about it,
But that would be really funny if Star is like singing and gods of pussy. Dave, stop masturbating. We're in the middle of a song, man. You said pussy. It'd be really funny. Yeah, so I'm really jazzed about that. And yeah, they're talking in the chat. Who's the best Iron Maiden guitarist? Adrian Smith gets my vote too. They're three great guitarists. They're all in that band for a reason. But Adrian Smith is, he's the king for me, at least. Yeah, so there you go. Cool. So thank you, Lexi Fox, and congratulations on good endeavors to the future. And we wish you well. Steel Panther, looking for a new bass player. I'm curious who you guys wind up getting. And by the way, there's a goodbye Lexi video on YouTube if you want to check that out. That's fun too. There's bandmates wishing him well, so that's kind of fun. Let's see. There's rumors circulating around. I'm just going to squash this right now. There's rumors circulating around online that Rat may be replacing Motley Crue on the stadium tour. Not true. Again, Stephen Pearcy is working on projects. He's working on his solo album. He's working on other projects. There's, of course, always discussions of, the door is open for Warren to come back in. And, the guys in Rat are always bouncing around. Stephen's always very open to it. He always has been. He's put it out there. It's been in the air lately, hey, now would be a great time with all these bands reuniting for Rat to reunite. But, that's not solid right now. And it's definitely not replacing Motley Crue as part of the stadium tour. Now, with that said, Vince has a lot to work on. Recently, Don Dokken did some performances with George Lynch, and Don was, admittedly, he was horrible. His vocal performance was horrible. He was there in spirit. He was there in energy. But the fact is, he doesn't have the pipes anymore. He's trying, and God bless Don Dokken, because he's been through so much hell with his health, between his hands and his voice and his throat and all the problems health-wise Don has gone through. God bless you out there, Don, for showing up and trying to put in. But the fact is, there's a difference, because Don Dokken is at least trying, and he's coming out mumbling. He doesn't have the power to do it anymore. But look, you go see that show anyway because George Lynch is ripping as a guitarist. George is in perfect fucking form. He's got balls bashing against the wall and he's ripping on that guitar. So go see Dockin' with Don anyway, but you got to cut Don some slack because Don's not going to be the way you want to see him. He's just getting older. His health isn't great. Nothing you could do about it. You know, it sounds like he's mumbling, he's trying, but with that said, Don, you kind of feel bad for and you want to cut him some slack and you can say, okay, I'm still seeing the music is still there. George, to see George doing Doc, and that alone is worth the price of admission. You got to give him an A for effort. Okay. Vince on the flip side. And again, I love Vince as an artist, not trying to be mean here, but the fact is Vince is getting paid a fucking boatload of money and he can, if he'd work on his vocals and get in shape and learn the goddamn words, Vince has the ability to get back and do some sort of performance, which he better do. Because the fact is, Motley Crue is a big part of that damn stadium tour. There's no refunds. Everybody paid a fortune in money to see him. So he's got to get back in shape. So Don Dokken, we're cutting you some slack. Vince, Nick, you better crack the whip on you, man, because, you know, there's a big difference. There we go. There's Vince. Not in his finest appearance there, but we're hoping he puts his dick to the grinding stone and gets his ass in shape, because we'll cut Don at least some slack for trying. Vince is not trying. Vince needs to try. But with that said, as it sits right now, if the stadium tour is going to continue, which so far it is, they've got to kick Vince Neil in the ass.
Who else is on that?
Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett.
Oh, I'm going to see Joan Jett.
So are you going to the stadium tour, or are you doing a solo show?
No,
Okay.
she's playing an event in San Francisco.
'Cause I love Johnny Beane. Put another like on the video, baby. I love Johnny Beane.
Yeah, I got my tickets today. Actually, it was free. It's a free show.
Leo says I look like Richie Kotzen a bit, minus the talent, success, and money, and ability.
The good looks.
Yeah, and the good look. I try very hard. I try. So there you go. So there's the update on Dokken playing with George Lynch and Vince Neil playing with his penis when he should be exercising. Put down the cookies, Vince. Put down the cookies. Okay. Let's see. We'll talk about that on the way out. Okay, let's do show and tell right now, because it is time for show and tell. I got a few other things coming up after show and tell, but let's do show and tell guitar. Today's show and tell guitar brought to you by my favorite Vinum custom pickups. Vinum, maker of the Mancuda custom. Look at that. Vinum can kick the ass of whatever sound you need in your guitar. You have a Les Paul and you want to really achieve some vintage tones, call Craig Vinum at Vinum Custom Pickups, and he will make your dreams come true tone-wise. Tone. Yeah, Vinum Custom Pickups, they'll make anything. You want metal pickups, tell them what you want. They will custom wind it. Or they have pre-made selections that are little improvements over things like a Duncan JB Plus, a DiMarzio Super Distortion, but better. I mean, you tell them you want something like a Duncan Custom, but a little bit less muddy. They could do that for you. Craig Vinum can do anything. They make colored pickups to match your crazy guitars. Vinum Custom Pickups. Check them out. Vinum Custom Pickups. Look them up online. They're one of our sponsors, as are our buddies over at Swiss Picks. The greatest gripping picks out there. Swiss Picks. When you don't want to lose your pick, when you want something that grips good, and the wear on these things is great. Someone was asking me, do they go through real fast? These are really solid. These really last long, and they feel great. They even make glow in the dark pickups. So when you lose your pickup under the couch, you can't find it. Shut off the lights. I'm sorry, picks. Thank you. When you lose your picks under the couch, turn off the lights, and these little babies glow. I mean, they make all sorts of stuff. You have the Jason Becker pick.
That's the one that I have. I have one of those right here.
So do I. Yeah, so check out Swiss picks. They're great. Also, if you want to hot rod your guitar, you go to FU Tone. Tone. Johnny, do you have a card or something there? For FU Tone? Our buddy over at FU Tone? A sticker, a box? What do you got? Sticker. There you go. FUTone.com. Go to FUTone.com because they will hot rod your guitar. FU-Tone. Thank you. FU-Tone, because you want to hot rod your guitar. Obviously, you want to buy some Vinyl custom pickups. Then you say, you know what? I want a better bridge. I want some better saddles. I want some more solid tuners. Go to FU Tone. They make titanium stuff, for God's sakes. I mean, really, really great performance stuff. Noiseless springs. You name it. Check it out. Go to FU Tone or FU-Tone.com. And of course, finally, if you want the greatest kill switches, that's not the one. If you want the greatest kill switches in the business, you get yourself a Tessie switch. There you go, baby. Tessie switch, maker of the most durable, reliable, and effective kill switches on your guitar. It's like you're playing video games. Those things are so good. You beat the crap out of them. Really, really cool. The best kill switches in the business. Go to Tessie Switch and check those out. Now, I gave you the clue today, and I did mention that this was guitar belonging to someone known to have a big mouth. Someone guessed Ted Nugent. I think Fruitcake Tony guessed Ted Nugent, or possibly one of the Skid Row guys, because Sebastian Bach.
So it went from somebody with a big mouth to somebody with a big mouth.
Yes. The person who had this guitar had a big mouth, definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, Johnny, if you take that down for a second.
Make sure to subscribe.
Hit the subscribe button, because why not? The guess of Hellstorm says Gene Simmons bass. It's a good guess, too. Okay. Look at that thing. This is a 1982 Charvel, San Dimas Charvel, big mouth graphic, formerly belonging to Tracy Guns of LA Guns, my buddy Tracy.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That was his?
This was Tracy's. I got some photos too. I'll show you in a little bit. This was Tracy Guns. This is what's known as the big mouth graphic. This is one of those classic 80s Charvel graphics. Now, these were done a few different ways by the artist. This particular one was done by Dan Lawrence. Dan did this one because you'll notice the tongue is coming out above the teeth. So this is the way it should be, with the tongue coming out and hanging over the teeth. Some of them are coming out under the teeth, which was an error in a lot of people that did the graphic. But Dan got this one right. The tongue is coming out over the teeth. But this is what's known as the big mouth graphic. This is a San Dimas Charvel, 1982. Little San Dimas Charvel plate there. Inside the cavity cover, Tracy signed this guitar to me, but it's inside the electronics cover. It says something like "Take care of my baby, Tracy Guns," something like that. There you go. You got this classic skunk stripe on a maple Charvel neck. Classic, right there. And of course, the classic Charvel logo. Now you'll notice this logo is a little bigger than a lot of the other Charvel logos. This is what's called an endorsee logo. So when you got a logo like this, it was usually, this is a little bigger than your standard logo, so it can be seen from a stage. So this was specifically for Tracy, so you could see the Charvel logo just a little clearer. It's probably like maybe half an inch larger, or maybe an inch larger than a regular Charvel logo. So it's a big logo, classic Strat headstock that these babies were known for. Look at that dirty maple. Beautiful, beautiful dirty maple. Never clean your maple. Let it get dirty. Let it get broken in from the oils of your hands, slick.
Never a clean.
Yeah, Jimmy Ray Hawkins says looks like it was never played. There's no real chips on the graphic, but if you
there's
look
no
at
cavities in that
if you
guitar.
look at the maple, you can see it's dirty. It was played to death. A little hard to see in the light, maybe at an angle. That's probably a little better. You can see the difference from around the first fret to down here. There you go. And of course, this one has a factory Floyd Rose, which basically meant that it was brought to the factory to be built with a Floyd Rose, because at the time, Kramer had the lockdown on Floyds. So if you wanted a Floyd, you had to bring it to Charvel for them to install it.
Yeah, those aren't Floyd posts. Those are different. Those are different posts than what you would normally see on with a Floyd.
Yeah, these are different. These are a regular what is it? Phillips screw.
That's like a screwdriver.
Yeah,
Phillips
Phillips screw
a flathead.
Phillips screw heads. And you can see it's right here. And it's also got a lock in the cavity. He blocked it basically. He used it at one point with a Floyd, and then he wanted it blocked. You can't see it here because I got the cover on, but there's a block there that he put on, he told me. And look at the detail. This is classic Dan Lawrence. You look at the detail on the teeth, the little shadows and cracks in the teeth and stuff. You have a Duncan pickup. It's probably been changed a couple of times. I like the way the graphic wraps around a little bit into the horn. So it kind of wraps in, overlaps a little bit. I love that. I love that. Really low action. Again, Tracy's a shredder. You know, Tracy's one of those guys that goes through guitars. There's three guys, I've always said this. There's three players that always go through guitars like girlfriends. And that's George Lynch, Jack Frost, and Tracy Guns. Now, all three of them have gone through so many guitars. But this was played during the LA Guns days. Let's see, where do I have that? I have some photos. Let's see. Wait, hang on 1 second. I'll just grab those. I got them across the room.
Subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you so much. If you're wondering what I do while he shows you guys the guitars every week, I do all the promotion behind the scenes. I'm currently sharing this over on my Instagram stories. So follow me on Instagram.
And plug back in. There we go. Okay, so here's back in the LA Guns days. There's Tracy playing it. And then let's see. It's another one. The great Tracy Guns. By the way, little plug for Tracy. If you're not familiar with what he's been working on, he did the Sunbomb album recently with Michael Sweet, which is freaking fantastic. And they just came out with a new LA Guns album, Cocked and Loaded Live, which is some very cool live show or live performances. So you might want to check that out if you're a fan of LA Guns, and who isn't, because Tracy's amazing. There you go. This is him and I at his house reuniting with the guitar. Sorry about the lighting. There
Was
we
that
go.
earlier today?
Yeah. No, it wasn't today, but it's like probably 2 years ago. But there you go. So yeah, guitar
Awesome.
Trace used with LA Guns, which is great because I love LA Guns. You know, I mean their stuff is just phenomenal. I'm glad they're back together in the right way they should be. But let's see. Just gonna, and if you like that, leave a thumbs up on the video, please. Let's see. I'm just gonna look through the chat. Worn brass volume knob. Yeah. Most hardware on the old Charvels is brass. You got the volume knob is original. That's brass. And the strap locks, old brass as well. Same with the tuners and the string tree, old brass as well. Charvel's had some great brass hardware. Let's see. Just looking through the chat. Yeah, Leo, that's not a roasted maple neck. That's a real dirty maple neck. This is, you know, these days people roast maple necks to get them to be what these 40-year-old guitar necks are today, which is aged, broken in, you know, dense, dried, smooth. That's what they do, the roasting process today to try to recreate is a neck like this, a broken in, dirty maple neck like this from back in the day, because these Charvel necks are incredible. They play amazing. They're smooth. They're fast, thin D shape, just beautiful, just really slick, and they feel so good. If you haven't played a classic San Dimas Charvel, I absolutely highly recommend it. Let's see. I mean, Tracy Guns doesn't play junk, so you know the guy knows his guitars. Let's see. Cigarette burn on the headstock. There's no cigarette burn on the headstock. Oh wait, yeah, I guess there is. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. I guess that was Trace smoking, but yeah, there is one right over there. There you go. I didn't even notice that. I guess he pulled in Eddie Van Halen and put his cigarettes up on the strings like some guys do. Let's see. Lenny Lou says that tongue reminds me of Blue Origin. Yeah. Here, wait. Help me. There we go. There's Blue Origin meeting Tracy Guns guitar. I may use this later for personal reasons other than playing. There you go. Let's see. Rena says a string tree on a Floyd is kind of silly, don't you think? Well, again, you know, it's how they built them. I mean, the Charvels did use string trees of various types through the years. This is what they started with. Well, they also started with a few different designs, but let's see. Jimmy Ray Hawkins says Blue Orgasm. Yeah, you like that penis rocket? It's the highlight of my week. There you go. Anyway, okay, so that is today's show and tell guitar, 1982, Tracy Guns, celebrity guitar, San Dimas Charvel, big mouth graphic by Dan Lawrence, used during his time with LA Guns. There you go. Johnny, you got the thumbnail?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, cool. So let's see. Let's bang out our last stuff here. What else did we have? Let's see. One, two. Let's see. Let's go with this one. For starters, if you're not familiar, we started talking about it, but there's two very cool guitar auctions over at Heritage Auctions right now. The first one is the Joe Bonamassa NFT collection.
Bonamassa.
Joe Bonamassa is selling some non-fungible tokens. He's selling air that looks really good. And let's see. I think he's selling a guitar there. Is he selling a guitar also? I have to look this up. I just got this catalog. Let's see.
He's holding a guitar on the cover.
Yeah, let's see. But hold on. Featuring new Songmaster and publishing rare guitar amp and more. All right, so I'm trying to figure if he's selling the guitar or a non-fungible token of the guitar. I'm not really clear on that because I just got this.
He's selling the strings on the guitar.
Let's see. Holy. Okay, so he's selling a Les Paul and an NFT of the song he made with it. So he is selling a Les Paul. So let's see. So this is the Les Paul he's selling. Right there. I guess he's selling one of his prized 59s.
Wow, yeah, that looks like something Slash would play.
And he might because we'll see who buys that, because that's going to be a lot of money. So let's see. He's selling new Songmaster and publishing, a rare guitar, the amp. He's selling the 59 Les Paul Standard. He's selling a vintage amp from his collection, which is a 63 Fender Vibro Verb. An original song, so you can actually buy the song rights for videos.
You can buy the rights to one of his songs.
Let's see. Track name, written and produced, mixed and mastered, executive producer, will include WAV file featuring master rights and publishing included. Yeah. And then let's see here. Handwritten lyric sheet, cover art design, hand signed lithograph. So let's see. You could bid on lunch with Joe. And then there's 13 different NFTs. There's a song, guitar, amp, tickets and meet and greet, Nerdville Museum tour and lunch, full music video, guitar origin video. Very confusing catalog.
It's upside down.
No, it is. Well, let's see. The starting bid though is $350,000, which is what these go for, and that's without just being Joe's. So you look at that and you'll see that's a big deal.
That's if that guitar belonged to an average Joe.
Yeah. So that's the starting price. But this is a gorgeous guitar, and this is coming direct from Joe. All this stuff is coming direct from Joe. So the provenance is perfect. So this is not one of those, well, was it his? Was it it? No, this is Joe's. And again, forgive me for not knowing specifics of this auction. Like I said, I just got the catalog, but I do want to push it. And then also, this is what we were also talking about last week, the Neil Schon collection. He's selling about 100 of his guitars, including some of his main guitars from Journey. You guys all recognize this black Les Paul. I think it's a 78, right around there, that he wrote a lot of Journey's biggest hits on. But this is a beautiful catalog. You guys should send away for this. This is at Heritage Auctions. And the auction's going on July 31st. But look at some of the Les Pauls he's got there. Oh, damn it. There we go. Beautiful stuff. I mean, there's 100+ guitars in here. You can go online to Heritage. You could check it out. There's Fenders, there's Gibsons, there's probably some Jacksons. I think you have the prototype Sean guitar in there. You have a lot of vintage Fenders and Gibsons.
If you follow him on Facebook, he posts pictures of these guitars and he tells little stories behind them.
Yeah, so check this out. This is again Heritage Auctions, and you got some time, July 31st. But check it out. 108 of his, I think it's 108 of his guitars. Really nice looking catalog, beautiful catalog. They did a great job on that. So check that out.
Awesome.
Let's see. Finally, there's Slash. We were talking about in January 2020 after NAMM. He came out with a selection, a line of Slash Gibson guitars, all Les Pauls and whatnot. Well, now you can get the Epiphone versions of those. 4 Epiphone Les Paul versions and a few others. And that's also part of the Slash collection. You have the November. You have the Anaconda Burst. Do you have a photo of those, Johnny? Can you bring those up?
Yeah, I'm on Guitar World right now. Yeah, I saw them earlier because I'm friends with somebody who works for
Epiphone.
For Epiphone, and he was posting about them earlier. All right. Yeah, these are cool, and definitely for I mean, for any Slash fan, any fan of Epiphone.
And these are affordable. These are affordable.
Yeah.
Too. Look at those. They look nice.
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, try to play one of those. You have a good time with that. Looks fun. And more importantly, if you have a chance, hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah,
right, Johnny?
That's the most important thing, because you'll be able to come back. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, you'll get the alert. Anytime there's new content here, anytime we go live, half an hour before we're on the air, you get the alert saying, hey, they'll be on.
And when that bell goes off, it's like Pavlov's dog. Johnny gets a boner the size of a Blue Origin.
Sherman Callahan, thank you for the stars, man.
Thank you, Sherman.
Sherman Callahan on Facebook. Sherman Callahan.
Let's give a thanks to everybody that are channel members supporting the show. And Bozique, if you want to upgrade those Slash Les Pauls, if you're not happy with the pickups, Vinum custom pickups. They'll make any guitar sound good. Their pickups are amazing. Craig Vinum will take care of you. Tell them that I sent you. Let's thank you to our channel members, our beloved and cherished and treasured channel members, like Charles Green, Fruitcake Tony, Michael the Captain Smith, David Ennis, Mike Neese, Richard Poole, Linny Lou, and my dear geriatric astronaut love child Mary, Gargets Entertainment, Kurt 5150, Susan Silvestri, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe Christian, Nicole Mrazek, Sean Bolland, Wayno, Stephen Franklin, Will Starr or Habs, KXM Rock, David Shea, Gomery, Bozique, Crazy Cook 678, Carol Hatcher, False Flag, Margaret Scranton, Sean Silas, Trevor Burnson, Jarhead Rock, and thank you to our channel members, Hal Face, John Moronic, James Gum, Hillary Lewis, Jim Nicholas, 802 Blues, Mr. BHB Jr., Frag, is that Bruce? Frag 5150, Pal Guitars, Dan Halen, Frank Corcoran, Bent Tom and Tom Jr., Jeff T, R2R3 Locking Nut, Fernando Riley, Robot Master Switch, 6 Chick 71, Rick Green, the Chad, 2 Brain Cells, G-Man, Michael B, Thomas Santiago, Voodoo Child SJ, that is Sean Johnson, Brian Spalding, Fender Guru, Music Therapy Laz, Ghost BC Rich, 5150 TV, Jimmy Ray Hawkins, Hugh Caldwell, David Crosby is a dildo fucker, help me! He just flew off into that rocket. Jesus Rapes Me, Randy Price, James 5150, Christopher Live, Sawa, Laguna Palms, Murph Murphy, Steve Barton, All Dave All Night, Tuba, and Steve Carmichael.
Good night, Steve Carmichael.
Good night, Steve Carmichael.
Whoops.
And look, everyone out there, thank you for watching. We love and appreciate our audience. Hit the like button. Leave comments on the video because we love you and reply to them. Be safe. Be kind to each other. And get vaccinated so we could get through this goddamn pandemic. I'm so tired of it all.
Yeah. Wash your hands.
Especially after you rub off your Blue Origin.
Love you all. Thank you so much.
And much love to Neanderthal. We love you, brother.
Neanderthal. Everybody. And remember, this is a podcast as well. So, this is a brand new feature. I didn't mention this earlier. You can actually say, "Hey Siri, play the Johnny Beane podcast," and they will. I just did it.
Oh, jeez.
Crap.
Right now, everyone's going off on that. Nice.
It's true. Just say, "Hey Siri, play the Johnny Beane podcast," and your iPhone will automatically wake up. Oh, that's happening to me. Oh no.
It's the first. I think you said Big Black Cocks. Is that right?
See, it just opened it.
Did you say Star Trek condoms? Is that right?
See, it just opened last week's episode just now.
I believe you said find X-Men 124 in mint condition. Is that right?
Oh, how do I stop this?
Oh, God. We've had so much tech issues today. Jesus. This is the joy of live TV. By the way, if you guys didn't watch the last 30 seconds of last week's video, something happened live after the credits started rolling. Watch it. Check it out. Don't miss that because that was really funny. Last week's video, the last 30 seconds after the credits were rolling, just listen to the video. You'll die laughing.
Yes. All right.
Oh, and add me on Instagram, Jonathan Mancuda on Instagram. Because why not? It's free.
I'm not going to hear my voice.
Yes. Add us on Instagram. All right. Love you all.
Rock on, everybody.
See you guys Friday. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm doing a Wolfgang Wednesday.
And I'll be raiding your fridge and sleeping with your wives.
Oh, man.
See you tomorrow.